So it is artist check-in time again. It is the end of week 9, and I made it. I made it to the end of week 9. I'm thinking about if I did my tasks. I did. Yeah. I did a little bit of some on the train the other day, I remember. Sure, let's get started. How many pages this week how many days this week did you do your morning pages? I did my pages 5 days this week. I skipped 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday. My excuse for those, not that I shouldn't make any excuses for myself, but those days were really nice out. So I went out and the sun was out. It was warm. And I think, yeah, those were the days I did my artist dates too. I was just really excited to get outside. It's getting warmer in New York City. So I was ready to experience that from, as soon as I got up, I was ready to go out. I spent my day getting ready and I went out. It says, regarding your U-turns, have you allowed yourself a shift toward compassion, at least on the page? So the U-turns she's talking about is like the creative U-turns that people like, when you like start something creative and then you kind of stop in the middle of doing it, if that makes sense. Have I shifted toward compassion, at least on the page? If I'm thinking correctly back to my pages, I could have a little more compassion towards myself, especially on the pages and in real life. That's actually something that I'm strengthening. Like, that's a goal for me, is strengthening my self-compassion and, yeah, my positive talk, if that makes sense. So, yeah. So let's just say that question is like, I'm actively working on that, giving myself more compassion. Did you do your artist date this week? Have you kept the emphasis on fun? What did you do and how did it feel? Okay, so this week, what did I do? I was reading this book at this park under one of my favorite trees. Yeah, so that was the day I went to this park and I just sat under one of my favorite trees and I had some snacks and I was just reading and just kind of connecting with nature, and it felt really good. To me, that was fun. It was chill. I haven't been to that tree since I got back to New York. So, and that's something I feel like I was putting off for a while because I've been meaning to get there, but I wasn't making the time to go. So I'm glad that I got time to go this week. And I think it was a very peaceful, good time. And then my second artist date was going dancing. So later that night, I went to this club that I've been meaning to check out. And things didn't work out as planned. So I ended up going out the next night, which was Wednesday. And my best friend did come along on Wednesday because it was another nice day. She was outside. She didn't have work. So, we ended up going to the club together. Honestly though, Again, it didn't turn out as planned. The record room, it was not a lot of dancing going on. It was like a lot of people just sitting around and just chilling. And I'm just like, the music was jumping. I'm just like, why nobody's dancing? Like, So me and my best friend, we hit a little 1-2 before we walked out. But yeah, that night ended up being also another chill night after we left the club. I think it was very good for like aesthetics, and probably drinks, but I'm not much of a drinker, so as far as going out to get drinks and stuff, like I really wanted to go out specifically for dancing, and it didn't really turn out how I was expecting. And low key though, I mean, me and my best friend was dancing a little bit, but ultimately we end up leaving because nobody else was dancing. Everyone was just sitting around. Yeah. Have you kept the emphasis on fun? I would say that was fun. For me, one, reading is fun for me. Two, dancing. Yeah. I feel like that was super fun, honestly. Even though not everybody was dancing, and we didn't stay for long because there was nobody dancing. So clearly it was not one of those clubs. It really wasn't a lot of space for dancing either. Like, usually, like, when you go to, like, some clubs, like, usually the dance floor is, like, right there in front of the DJ booth. And my best friend was kind of mentioning that, too. So that did not happen. So there was not a whole lot of dancing going on. But I do think it was fun. How did it make me feel? With the nature date, I felt very peaceful, very chill, very grateful to have that time with nature because I'm really just such a nature girly. So it felt good to have that. And as far as going out, dancing, it always feels good to spend time with my best friend. It does. It's so funny. The club that I chose, I didn't realize where it was. I thought maybe it was like in Brooklyn or it was in the city, but it was in Queens. It was in Long Island City. And it was not far from this place or whatever there that I used to spend time at. And my best friend was with me one day where we was chilling and it was so freaking cold outside. And we was just there and I was writing a letter for somebody and I was going to hand deliver the letter. And yeah, I just think that that's so funny. Like, again, I'm always grateful for my time with my best friend. And to know that I have her to like sit with me and just go on this adventure that we call life is such a blessing to me. Like, I love recognizing that I have her. Like, she's such a blessing to me because, like, who do you know that is gonna sit out in the cold with you while you write a letter to hand deliver? Not a lot of people would do that. Like, bro, based on my experiences with her and with other people, like, I realized, like, people be having so much bullshit to say when you're, like, being authentically yourself, bro. But my best friend, she is just, like, always supportive. And I'm so grateful for that. Like, so grateful for her. So overall, I'm very grateful for both of my experiences, my artist dates, and I'm glad that she got to be a part of one of them. Yeah. Did you experience any synchronicity this week? What was it? I don't know. I'm just gonna... Synchronicities this week? That's a good question. I don't think so, for real. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. At this moment, I am not recalling. So I'm not gonna ponder on that for too long, for real. Yeah. Next question. Were there any issues this week that you consider significant for your recovery? Describe them. Okay, so shoot, issues. I will say that like it's time for me to like sorry for that long ass pause. But I will say that it is time for me to like lock in again. You know, like I care about this journey so much. I'm grateful that I'm still going. You know, I just do feel like I wasn't as consistent with like keeping up with the artist way, really keeping up with a lot of things in my life recently just because they feel overwhelming when I start to think about them. So, you know, I do think that it's time for me to take a step back and kind of work something out as far as like getting locked back in. Like I gotta really lock in and figure out what I'm doing with my life right now. I feel like that is significant for my recovery because like, you know, I don't know, it's just really important to just have motion. You know, I like to feel like I got motion and I'm going somewhere and I'm doing something, you know. And just when I'm not doing certain things, it feels like stagnancy. And, you know, so I don't like that feeling of stagnancy. So I'm doing my best to like, again, just lock in and help myself to feel like I'm getting things done and I'm doing something with myself and like and I'm gonna get something out of this, you know, like the things that I'm doing. As far as locking in, I gotta like be more on it with like actually writing and finishing my artist tasks. I've gotta anyways, what else do I have to do? Shoot. Who knows what else I gotta do? I got a whole bunch of other stuff to do. That's an old schedule, but either way. Yeah, I just gotta really sit down and lock in and figure out like a plan. Like work out the details of what I'm doing. It does help for me to like be writing a schedule for myself every day out of the week so I know that what I'm doing for that day of the week. I also am going to do my best to not give myself so much to do so that I can get something done and not feel so overwhelmed. And then when certain things don't get done, I'll feel a certain kind of way. I don't want that feeling. So I'm gonna do my best to make sure that I'm getting the things that I need to get done, and I'm making time for myself, and I don't feel so overwhelmed in doing so. I feel like this week was as good as it could have been. The weather got better, so it was pretty warm out all week, and I was outside. Definitely time to lock back in with my pages. Did I write today? You know what? Make that 3 days that I didn't do my pages, because I didn't do them today. I just remembered that. I just remembered that. So, hey, shit happens. Shit happens. And tomorrow's another day. So, I know that I got this. And I'm going to get through this. I'm about 75% done. Is it? Yeah, something like that with The Artist Way. So I'm pretty much almost done with The Artist Way. And I am so proud. I'm very proud that I made it this far, honestly and truly. I'm grateful that I made it this far. Yes. And once I finish all 12 weeks, like, I can go back and finish some of the tasks that I didn't do in the past weeks and see what they have to offer. Yeah. So I guess that's the goal for next week, is locking in and making sure that I'm getting things done without feeling so overwhelmed, and also making sure that I'm making time for actually enjoying life, you know, feeling good about life, because that is important. And I think that's all. So, leaders, love you.